नमस्कार दोस्तों, welcome back to VNP networking tutorials. In this video, we are going to understand the topology that we will use to configure eBGP multi-hop, which allows BGP neighbors to establish a session even when they are not directly connected. So let's first understand the network topology for this video. On the left side, we have router R1, which belongs to autonomous system 65,000. On the right side, we have router R3, which belongs to autonomous system 65,001. Between them, we have router R2, which acts only as a transit router. It forwards IP packets between R1 and R3, but does not participate in the BGP peering. Also, the link between R1 and R2 uses the network segment 10.1.1.0/30, and the link between R2 and R3 uses the subnet 10.1.2.0/30. In this topology, we have to form eBGP between R1 router and R3 router, which are not directly connected. Now let's power on all the routers and take the console access one by one. So for this, you can click this green button. This will power on all three routers, router R1, router R2 and router R3. You can right click each router, go to console and take the console access. Now we have the console access for all three routers, router R1, router R2 and router R3, and we can now start with the configuration part. As you can see, I have already built the configuration for all three routers on a notepad. So this will save the time and it will help me to quickly configure all the routers. So let's go through the configuration details. Now you can see that for R1 router, we have the hostname as R1. The interface fast Ethernet 0/0 will have the IP 10.1.1.1/30 as shown in the topology diagram. No shutdown command to enable the interface. Also, to have the connectivity between R1 and R3 routers. See, we have to run some kind of internal routing protocols, because if there is no connectivity between R1 and R3, we cannot form the BGP neighborship, because we have to form eBGP neighborship between R1 and R3. The R1 IP is 10.1.1.1. The R3 IP is 10.1.2.1. And we should have the reachability. So how we can use any routing protocols or a static route to have the reachability? So in my case, I am using the OSPF routing protocol, because in the OSPF, I am advertising the directly connected network 10.1.1.0 and in the area 0. So I will advertise this subnet on the router R1. Okay. Similarly, you will see the configuration for R2 router. The R2 will have the hostname of R2, and you can see the IP address for the interface fast Ethernet 0/0, which is having 10.1.1.2/30. No shutdown to enable the interface. Fast Ethernet 0/1 is having the IP 10.1.2.1. Sorry, it should be 2.2. My bad, it should be 2.2 as per the topology. And the enable and the interface is no shut. To enable it, we are advertising two subnets 10.1.1.0 and 10.1.2.0 in the OSPF, so that these routes can be exchanged via the routing protocol OSPF, and this will enable for the route exchange between R1 and R2. Also, you can see the configuration for R3 router. Hostname is R3. I need to correct the interface IP. That should be 10.1.2.1 on R3. Okay. No shutdown to enable the interface, and we have OSPF also running on the R3 router, and this will advertise the directly connected subnet, which is 10.1.2.0. On R3, you can see the configuration for OSPF. Okay, you can see the configuration on R3 for this OSPF. Okay, so let's quickly configure and let's quickly make the OSPF neighbor up. Okay, I will copy all this command on the R1 router and paste it on the R1 router console access. See how easy it is to configure and initialize the router when you have the configuration in the notepad. Okay, let me go to R2 router and copy paste the configuration for R2. I will copy all the configuration. If you have any doubts for the configuration or any other query related to lab, you can put the comments and you can ask the queries. I will also put the configuration for R3. I will go to R3 router console and paste it. Okay, I think I found some error here. I need to check what is the error here. Okay, sorry, here the interface type is wrong. Okay, let me check. We are using fast Ethernet. I need to correct that. Okay, there should be fast Ethernet. My bad. Okay, I will put it once again, this configuration on R3. So this kind of error might occur when you prepare the configuration on the notepad, because you need to be careful what interface module you are using. Okay, this time no error. Okay, let me check the interface IP and the configuration. So on the R1, I will see the IP, show IP interface brief, to quickly see the IP address and the interface status. Yes, it's correct. How about the OSPF neighborship? Show IP OSPF neighbor. Okay, I can see I have the one OSPF neighbor 10.1.2.2. So this is the R2 router. Okay, 10.1.2 is the R2 router. Okay. On R2, I should have two OSPF neighbor. Yes, I can see some kind of OSPF logs. So let me quickly check the IP interface brief. Okay, I can see the interface having the IP. The status is up, the protocol is up. How about the OSPF neighborship? Okay, I can see on R2, two OSPF neighbors are up. How about R3? Okay, I can see the IP address correctly assigned. The interface is up, the protocol is up. How about the OSPF neighborship? I can check, show IP OSPF neighbor. I see one OSPF neighbor. Okay, so let's verify the routing table. On R1, show IP route. OSPF, I should see some kind of OSPF routes. Yes, I can see the OSPF route, that is 10.1.2.0 via 10.1.1.2. So R1 knows how to reach 10.1.2.0 via the next stop, which is R2. And how about R3? Show IP route. Okay, I can see show IP route OSPF. To view the OSPF routes only. Yes. R3 also knows how to reach R1 via 10.2.2.2. If this is the case, then I should be able to ping from R1 router to R3 router. Okay, let me try to check I have a ping from R1 to R3. Okay, 10.1.2.1. Yes, I can reach the remote IP of R3 with which I want to form the eBGP neighborship. Now let's start with the BGP configuration. So as you can see on the notepad, we have the BGP configuration for router R1 and router R2. It's a very simple configuration. So let's review that. On R1 we have AS number 65,000. The remote neighbor IP is 10.1.2.1 and the remote AS number is 65,001. After that, we have one more command, neighbor, the neighbor IP and eBGP multi-hop. Value is 2. So this command is very important to change the default TTL value of 1 for iBGP. Here we are informing router R1 that please change the TTL value of default 1 in the IP header field to 2. This means that the remote router is 2 hop away. Okay, from this diagram you can see that R1 and R3 are separated by router 2. So logically R1 to R2 is 1 hop and R2 to R3 is another hop. So here we are informing R1 that the remote router is not directly connected, it is a 2 hop away. So change the default value of TTL from 1 to 2. And same in R3 you can see the BGP AS number is 6501 and 65,001. The remote peer IP is R1 which is 10.1.1.1. It is reachable. We have already checked. The remote AS number is 65,000 and same we are asking router R3 via this eBGP multi-hop command to change the default value of TTL from 1 to 2. Okay. So we will paste this configuration in router R1 and router R3. But before that, I would like to start the Wireshark capture because this will allow us to see what is the TTL value it will be sending. So on R1 fast Ethernet 0/0, we will have this Wireshark capture started. Okay. Also, let me start the Wireshark. Okay, the Wireshark has been started. Let me put the configuration for BGP on router R1. I will copy this and paste it in the R1 console. Okay, and let me go to R3 and copy the configuration for R3 and paste it on router R3. Now this should have triggered some kind of Wireshark packets. We can see some Wireshark packets now. Let me open that. Okay, I can put the filter like BGP. We should see some packets shortly. Let me check if the BGP is up. Yeah, I can see the BGP is up now. Okay. Show IP BGP summary. You can see that the BGP is up with the router 10.1.2.1. Do we have any Wireshark logs? Yes, I can see the Wireshark logs. Now let's open the first packet. And here you need to check the IP header, the internet protocol. Okay. Here you can see that. Let me expand this. Yes. From source 10.1.1.1 to destination 10.1.2.1. If you see the TTL value, you will see a TTL value of 2. Okay, because of the eBGP multi-hop command. Okay, let's see some more fields what we captured here. So I will just go to this BGP packet, open packet. Here you will see the AS details, I believe. Okay, let me just quickly go down. Yeah, so this packet is coming from R1. What R1 says, my AS is 65,000. Okay, and when we see the packet from 10.1.2.1, here you should see the AS number is 65,001. Okay, where is that packet? Let me just check it quickly. I think this should be the one. Yeah, see this. This packet is from router R3, which says that my AS number is 65001. Okay. Now let's verify some more commands. Okay, we can see that the BGP is formed. Okay, the BGP is up and stable with the remote AS number 65001, and it is up since last more than 5 minutes 55 seconds. But now you can see that no prefix has been received because we have not advertised anything in the BGP command. Okay, we have not advertised anything. So if you want to verify the configuration, you can type show run pipe section BGP. You will not see any network command configure. See, there is no network command. Okay, that's what we are not advertising anything. That's what it's showing as a 0. We are not advertising anything on both the routers. In the last lecture, you know that how to advertise the network in the BGP. Okay. Okay, there is one more useful command in the command prompt for this router. You can use the command show IP BGP neighbor and the neighbor IP 10.1.2.1, and you can put a filter like pipe include TTL. Okay, so this will also confirm that the TTL value, the outgoing TTL value is 2. Okay, you know that we have configured the eBGP multi-hop as 2. So here also it will show you what is the outgoing TTL value. The TTL value is 2. On R3, you can execute the same command. For the neighbor, show IP BGP neighbor 10.1.1.1 and pipe include TTL. So you can also see what is the outgoing TTL value. The TTL value is 2. I hope this video was informative, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture.